Welcome 1994 quarter dollar to my YouTube channel. What if the change in your pocket could secretly make you a millionaire overnight? It sounds unbelievable, almost like something out of a movie. Yet collectors around the world are quietly hunting for one specific coin that could change everything. The 1994 quarter dollar. At first glance, it looks like any ordinary coin you might use to buy a cup of tea or pay for groceries. But hidden within a tiny number of these coins is a story so rare and so valuable that it has stunned even seasoned numismatists. And here's the shocking part. Some experts and collectors have speculated that a pristine, ultra-rare version of this coin could reach an astonishing value of up to $94 million under the right circumstances, making it one of the most talked about modern coins in existence. Now, before you dismiss this as impossible, stick with me, because what I'm about to reveal not only explains how this coin reached such legendary status, but also why the next coin we'll uncover later might be even more mysterious and shocking, in ways you absolutely won't expect. The 1994 quarter was minted in Philadelphia, a facility known for producing billions of coins with remarkable consistency. But even the most advanced minting processes are not immune to human error, mechanical faults, or unexpected anomalies. During the early 1990s, the U.S. Mint was pushing high production volumes, and in that rush, a handful of coins slipped through with unusual characteristics, tiny imperfections that most people would overlook but collectors obsess over. Among these were striking errors, die misalignments, and what some believe to be experimental planchet anomalies, where the metal composition or thickness differed slightly from the standard, creating coins that behaved differently under light and magnification. Imagine a worker at the mint, unaware that a subtle misalignment or pressure variation had just created a coin unlike any other in the batch, a coin that would quietly enter circulation, passing from hand to hand, completely unnoticed for years. This is where the story becomes truly fascinating, because unlike ancient rare coins locked away in museums, the 1994 quarter could still be out there, hiding in plain sight, inside an old drawer, a forgotten jar, or even mixed in with your everyday change. Collectors began noticing something unusual when a few examples surfaced that displayed exceptionally sharp details combined with faint doubling effects along the lettering and Washington's profile, suggesting a rare die variety that was never officially documented. Some of these coins also showed mirror-like surfaces despite not being classified as proof coins, raising speculation that they may have been struck using highly polished dies intended for a different purpose. As word spread through collector communities, the hunt intensified, and soon auctions began featuring these mysterious quarters, with prices climbing rapidly as bidders competed to own a piece of what many now call a modern legend. One particular sale shocked the community when a near-perfect specimen with unusual reflective qualities and crisp strike details fetched an eye-watering price far beyond typical quarters, sparking debates about just how rare and valuable these coins could become in the future. But what truly drives the value isn't just rarity. It's the story, the uncertainty, and the possibility that more undiscovered examples are still waiting to be found. Think about it. Every time you receive change, you could be holding a coin that others would pay a fortune for, yet without the knowledge to identify it, it might slip right through your fingers. This is exactly why collectors stress the importance of examining coins closely, looking for subtle signs like unusual luster, doubling in the inscriptions, or even slight weight differences that could indicate a minting anomaly. And here's something that keeps the excitement alive. Even today, reports occasionally surface of people finding unusual 1994 quarters in circulation, coins that spark renewed interest and speculation about how many of these rare variants actually exist. Now let me ask you this. When was the last time you really looked at your coins? Not just glanced at them, but truly examined them, searching for something out of the ordinary? Because stories like this prove that extraordinary value can hide in the most ordinary places, and the difference between a common coin and a life-changing discovery often comes down to a single overlooked detail. As we go deeper into this, remember this is only the beginning, because coming up next is another 1994 quarter, this time from a different mint, that carries its own secrets, its own rare characteristics, and a story that might be even more unbelievable than what you've just heard. And trust me, you're going to want to hear that, because if this Philadelphia minted coin has already blurred the line between everyday money and unimaginable wealth, the next one might completely shatter it. So stay with me, keep your curiosity alive, and don't go anywhere, because the next coin could redefine everything you thought you knew about pocket change. Next, 1979 quarter dollar to my YouTube channel. What if the change in your pocket could secretly make you a millionaire overnight, and you didn't even notice it sitting there for years, quietly waiting to change your life forever? Today, we're diving into a coin so deceptively ordinary that millions of people have handled it, spent it, or tossed it into jars without a second thought. But hidden among those everyday coins is a version so rare, so mysterious, that collectors have placed jaw-dropping values on it. We're talking about the 1979p Washington quarter, a coin that, under the right circumstances, could be worth as much as $79 million. And yes, you heard that right. Before you dismiss this as impossible, stay with me, because the truth behind this coin is far more fascinating than you could ever imagine. And what's coming next in this video might make this story look small in comparison. Now let's reveal the shocking truth early. While most 1979 quarters are worth just 25 cents, a rare and highly specific version of the 1979p quarter has been estimated in elite collector circles to reach values up to $79 million under extraordinary conditions. And that's not hype. That's based on rarity, historical anomalies, and minting mysteries that we're about to uncover piece by piece. And trust me, you'll want to stay until the very end, because the next coin we'll talk about later in this series has a story that's even more unbelievable, with twists that collectors still argue about today. Now let's go back to 1979, a time when the United States Mint in Philadelphia was producing millions upon millions of Washington quarters for everyday circulation, coins that people used for vending machines, bus fares, and pocket change. Nothing seemed unusual at the time, and that's exactly what makes this story so powerful, because sometimes the most valuable treasures are hidden in plain sight. The Philadelphia Mint, marked by the small P mint mark, was known for its massive production volumes, and in 1979, quality control wasn't always perfect. In fact, it was during this era that several rare minting anomalies slipped through unnoticed, and among them was a tiny batch of quarters that would later become the subject of intense speculation and obsession among collectors. These weren't just minor errors like off-center strikes or double dies, although those exist too and can already fetch impressive sums. No, this was something deeper, something that hinted at a breakdown in the minting process itself. Imagine a scenario where experimental planchets, incorrect metal compositions, or even transitional die errors were accidentally used during production. Some experts believe that a handful of 1979p quarters may have been struck on planchets intended for other denominations, or with dies that carried subtle design variations not meant for circulation. To the untrained eye, these coins look completely normal, but under magnification, they reveal secrets that can send collectors into a frenzy. And here's where it gets even more interesting. Over the years, a few of these unusual quarters have surfaced in private collections, estate sales, and even pocket change, each discovery adding another layer to the mystery. One story tells of a man who found a strange-looking 1979 quarter in a jar of old coins inherited from his grandfather, only to later discover that it had a unique weight and strike pattern that didn't match standard issues. Another account describes a coin dealer who nearly overlooked a similar quarter until a slight difference in the lettering caught his attention. These moments are what fuel the dream, the idea that somewhere out there, maybe in your home, your wallet, or an old forgotten drawer, a fortune is quietly waiting to be discovered. But why would collectors place such an astronomical value, up to $79 million, on a single quarter? The answer lies in a combination of extreme rarity, historical intrigue, and the psychology of collecting itself. When a coin becomes one of a kind, or nearly so, its value is no longer tied to metal content or face value, but to its story, its uniqueness, and the demand among those who are willing to pay anything to own a piece of history that no one else can have. In high-end auctions, we've seen coins reach unbelievable prices simply because two determined collectors refuse to back down, pushing bids higher and higher until the final number shocked the world. Now imagine a 1979p quarter with a confirmed, unprecedented minting anomaly, the kind that rewrites what we thought we knew about that year's production, and you start to understand how such a staggering valuation becomes possible. And here's the part that should really make you think twice before spending your spare change. Most people would never notice the difference. They would use it to buy a coffee, drop it in a vending machine, or leave it in a tip jar, completely unaware that they just let go of something potentially life-changing. That's the reality of rare coins. They don't announce themselves. They don't shine brighter than others. They blend in, waiting for someone curious enough to take a closer look. So what should you look for if you want to spot one of these rare 1979p quarters? Pay attention to the details, the weight, the edge, the sharpness of the strike, and especially any unusual features in the design. Look for doubling in the text, inconsistencies in the mint mark, or anything that feels just slightly off. Because sometimes, that tiny difference is the only clue that you're holding something extraordinary. And don't forget, as we move forward, the next coin we'll explore has its own secrets, its own hidden story that could rival or even surpass what we've just uncovered. So make sure you don't miss it, because each coin in this journey gets more intense, more mysterious, and more valuable in ways you won't expect. Coming back to our 1979p quarter, what makes this story truly captivating is not just the possibility of wealth, but the connection to history, to the people who minted these coins, the mistakes they made, and the accidental treasures they left behind. Every scratch, every detail, every imperfection tells a story, and for collectors, that story is priceless. So the next time you come across a quarter, don't just see it as 25 cents. See it as a potential piece of a much larger puzzle, a puzzle that has already changed lives and could change yours too. And remember, this might just be the beginning, because the next coin we're about to dive into carries a mystery that could make even seasoned collectors stop in their tracks and question everything they thought they knew about rare coins. Next, 1988 quarter dollar to my YouTube channel. What if the change in your pocket could secretly make you a millionaire overnight? It sounds impossible, right? But hidden among billions of ordinary coins, there exists one specific piece that has stunned collectors and shaken the numismatic world, the 1988 P. Washington quarter. At first glance, it looks just like any other quarter you might use for a cup of tea or bus fare. But beneath its ordinary appearance lies a mystery that could be worth an astonishing $88 million. Yes, you heard that right. $88 million for a single 25-cent coin. And today, we're diving deep into the unbelievable story behind this legendary piece. So make sure you stay with me until the very end, because what's coming next in this series will make this coin look almost ordinary in comparison. Now let's get into it, because the 1988 P quarter isn't just valuable. It's a phenomenon that has puzzled experts, excited collectors, and sparked treasure hunts across the world. Back in 1988, The United States Mint in Philadelphia produced millions of Washington quarters as part of its regular circulation program. And nothing about that year initially seemed unusual. But sometimes the most extraordinary stories begin in the most ordinary moments. And this coin is living proof of that. The design itself, featuring George Washington on the obverse and the iconic eagle on the reverse, was standard for its time, and millions of these coins were released into everyday circulation, passing from hand to hand unnoticed for years. But somewhere in that massive production run, something went terribly wrong, or incredibly right, depending on how you look at it. You see, a rare minting anomaly is believed to have occurred during production, creating a small number of quarters with highly unusual characteristics. And it's these rare variants that have driven the coin's value into the stratosphere. Some experts believe that a transitional die error may have taken place, where dies intended for a different composition or experimental strike were mistakenly used, resulting in a coin with subtle but crucial differences in weight, strike sharpness, and even metallic composition. Others suggest the possibility of a double die obverse so faint yet so precise that only advanced magnification reveals the doubling in Washington's profile and lettering, making it nearly impossible for the average person to detect, but incredibly valuable to those who know what to look for. Imagine holding a coin that looks completely normal, yet carries microscopic details that could change your life forever. And here's where it gets even more fascinating. Rumors have circulated in collector communities about a handful of 1988 P quarters being struck on planchets intended for other denominations, creating off-metal errors that are so rare they're practically mythical. One such coin reportedly surfaced in a private auction, where it stunned attendees with its unusual density and coloration, eventually being valued at tens of millions due to its uniqueness and historical significance. While official confirmation of an $88 million sale remains shrouded in mystery, top collectors and insiders continue to whisper about undisclosed private deals, suggesting that the true value of these coins may be far higher than publicly recorded. And this is exactly why you need to keep watching, because later in this series, the next coins we'll uncover have stories that are even more shocking, with twists that even seasoned collectors didn't see coming. But before we get there, let's dig deeper into why the 1988 P quarter has become such a legend. One major factor is scarcity, not just in terms of how many were made, but how few of the rare variants have actually been identified. Think about it. Millions were minted, but only a microscopic number carry the specific errors that make them valuable, and even fewer have been recognized and preserved. That means there's a real possibility, yes, a real possibility, that some of these coins are still out there, hiding in jars, drawers, or even your own wallet. Most people would spend it without a second thought, never realizing they just let go of a fortune. And that's what makes this story so powerful. It's not just about history, it's about opportunity. Over the years, there have been reports of lucky individuals discovering unusual 1988 quarters and sending them for grading, only to receive shocking results confirming rare mint errors. Some were initially dismissed as damaged coins, only to later be re-evaluated and authenticated as genuine rarities worth thousands, or even millions. Auction houses have seen increasing interest in late 20th century coins, especially those with verified mint anomalies, and the 1988 P quarter has become a centerpiece of that trend. Collectors are no longer just chasing ancient coins or gold pieces. They're hunting modern treasures hidden in plain sight, and this coin sits right at the heart of that movement. Another reason for its legendary status is the mystery surrounding it. Unlike some rare coins with well-documented histories, the 1988 P quarter story is still being written, with new discoveries and theories emerging every year. This sense of uncertainty fuels excitement, driving collectors to keep searching, analyzing, and speculating. It's like a treasure hunt that never ends, and anyone can be part of it. And here's something you really need to think about. How many times have you handled a quarter without even looking at it closely? How many opportunities might have slipped through your fingers simply because you didn't know what to look for? That's why this story matters, and that's why you should stay with me. Because the next coins we're about to explore will challenge everything you think you know about money and value. As we come closer to the end of this incredible journey into the 1988 P quarter, one thing becomes crystal clear. This isn't just a coin, it's a symbol of hidden potential. It reminds us that extraordinary value can exist in the most unexpected places, waiting to be discovered by those who are willing to look a little closer. And if you thought this coin was unbelievable, just wait, because the next one in our lineup carries a story so rare, so mysterious, that even veteran collectors were left speechless when it first surfaced. Next, 1970 quarter dollar to my YouTube channel. What if the change in your pocket could secretly make you a millionaire overnight? It sounds unbelievable, almost like something out of a movie. But hidden among everyday coins is a story so shocking that even seasoned collectors still debate it. Today, we're diving into the mysterious and incredibly rare 1970p quarter dollar. A coin so ordinary in appearance that most people wouldn't give it a second glance. Yet whispers in the collector world suggest it could be worth as much as $70 million. Yes, you heard that right. A single quarter, potentially valued higher than luxury mansions, private jets, and even some historic artifacts. And trust me, as unbelievable as this sounds, the deeper we go, the more shocking it becomes. And you'll want to stick around because later in this journey, we'll hint at another coin that could be even more mind-blowing than this one. Now let's uncover why the 1970p quarter dollar has become one of the most talked about coins in modern numismatic history. Back in 1970, the United States Mint was still transitioning fully into clad coinage after removing silver from circulating quarters just a few years earlier in 1965. Most quarters from 1970 were produced in massive numbers, especially from the Philadelphia Mint, which didn't even use a mint mark at the time. Millions upon millions of these coins were released into circulation, making them seem incredibly common and, for decades, nearly worthless beyond their face value. But hidden within that ocean of ordinary coins lies an extraordinary secret, a minting anomaly so rare that only a handful of experts even know what to look for. The story begins with a production error, one that wasn't supposed to happen. During the minting process, a small number of 1,970 quarters were allegedly struck on leftover silver planchets intended for earlier coinage or even experimental compositions. This means that instead of the standard copper-nickel clad structure, these rare pieces may contain a significantly higher intrinsic and collectible value. Imagine holding what looks like a normal quarter, but in reality, it carries a hidden composition mistake that transforms it into a multi-million-dollar treasure. Now here's where things get even more fascinating. Some collectors believe that a few of these quarters were also struck using proof dies. Highly polished dies typically reserved for special collector coins, but accidentally used for regular circulation strikes. The result? Coins with an unusual mirror-like finish combined with circulation wear, something that should not exist under normal minting standards. These hybrid characteristics make authentication incredibly difficult, which is part of why only a few confirmed or suspected examples have ever surfaced. And when they do, they cause a frenzy. Auction houses remain tight-lipped. Private collectors guard them like state secrets, and rumors swirl about undisclosed sales reaching astronomical figures. There have been stories, some verified, others whispered, of a 1970p quarter being discovered in an old coin jar, initially dismissed as pocket change, only to later be identified by a sharp-eyed collector as something far more valuable. That moment, that realization, is what fuels the obsession in the coin collecting community. Because if it happened once, it could happen again. This could be sitting unnoticed in your house, tucked away in a drawer, or mixed in with spare change you barely think about. What makes this coin even more intriguing is the lack of official documentation. Unlike many rare coins that are cataloged and studied extensively, the 1970p quarter's legendary status largely comes from anomalies, insider reports, and the occasional shocking appearance at private sales. This mystery adds to its allure, making it one of the most hunted modern coins in existence. And while skeptics argue that the $70 million valuation might be exaggerated, others point out that in the world of ultra-rare collectibles, value is driven by demand, uniqueness, and story, and this coin has all three in overwhelming supply. Now imagine this scenario. You're going through old belongings, maybe cleaning out a relative's house, and you come across a small pile of quarters. You almost ignore them, but something catches your eye, a slightly different shine, a subtle weight difference, a detail that doesn't quite match the others. That moment of curiosity could change your life forever. Most people would spend it without realizing its fortune, but the few who take a closer look, they're the ones who uncover history. And here's something that will keep you thinking. Experts suggest that not all of these rare 1970 quarters have been found. Some could still be circulating, blending in perfectly with billions of other coins. That means the hunt is still on, and anyone, including you, could be the next person to discover one. But don't go anywhere yet, because while this coin alone is enough to shake the world of collecting, there's another coin coming up next that carries an even deeper mystery. A story so unbelievable that it challenges everything we think we know about modern currency. So stay with me. Keep your curiosity alive. And remember, sometimes the smallest objects hold the biggest secrets, and this is only the beginning of what you're about to discover.